All right, today you need your sketchbook. Doesn't matter what kind. Here is a homemade sketchbook. Here is a purchase sketchbook. It's 11.5 by, or I'm sorry, 8.5 by 11-inch paper. We're going to go ahead and open it up and get started. If you are left-handed, it might be helpful to turn your sketchbook upside down, so that way the spirals are on the right side. For all of you right-handers though, go ahead and have your spirals on the left side. You also need a pencil. You need a ruler. I am using a micron pen, but any ballpoint pen or fine line markers will work today. And then I'm also using my set of Prismacolors. I've had these for a really long time, and I made sure to sharpen them before I started using them. Crayola would be fine, Rose Art, whatever you have will work for that. So those are the supplies that we need today. We are going to start off by doing some basic drawing techniques. And I'd like you to start with your ruler. And we are going to draw a line with our ruler near the spirals. I like to do this in spiral sketchbooks, or really any sketchbooks that aren't perforated. That way you could always trim this off later and take it out of the sketchbook. So there's our line. And then I also want you to make a line at the top. So I'm just going to line my ruler up with the top of the notebook and draw a line. Up here I'm going to write value scales, and I'm actually going to use a marker to do that. I'm just going to pick out one of my fine line markers. So in art, when I talk about value, it's not the value of money, it is the value of the lightness and darkness of whatever you're using. So the lightness and darkness of a pencil, a pen, a marker, or a color pencil. And then I'm going to draw a line, not in the middle, but more to the right. So we have room to write on the right side. When you're using a ruler, make sure you're holding the ruler down really firmly, otherwise your ruler will wiggle around. So you can see that my line isn't quite in the middle, it's a little bit more to the right. Now I'm just going to simply use my ruler to draw some lines on the left side. So here's a section where I'm going to do some value scales. And I don't want them touching, so I'm actually going to draw a line separating them. So leave a little bit of space. So I've got a section here, 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 and then I'm going to do one more down here. And this doesn't have to be perfect. You don't even have to use a ruler if you really don't want to. So here are my 4 different sections. And then over on the right side, I'm going to write what they are going to be. So this value scale is going to be with just regular pencil, and it's going to be a grade 8. With pencil. This section here is going to be scumbling. with colored pencil. And then this section here will be stippling. With pen or marker. And then this last section is going to be gradiate with colored pencil. Gradiate with colored pencil. Oops. So I've just got 4 rectangles, and then on the sides I have them labeled of what's going inside. So you can go ahead and start with your gradiate with colored pencil. We want it to go from dark to light. Alright, and that should be for all of them, dark to light. So you can write dark to light on there. Now, this may be a review for some of you, but it's just a good refresher before you start drawing and working. So over here, I'm going to start with my dark to light. So obviously right here, we are going to leave it kind of blank. So you can start off on the light side if you want, or the dark side. It's up to you. And I'm just going to really, really lightly add some color here. And then it's just going to slowly get darker. And notice how I'm holding my pencil. I'm just really lightly holding my pencil right now. And then it's going to slowly get darker and darker as I get to the left. So I'm just going to press a little bit harder here. And this actually works better with a regular pencil, but I'm using a mechanical right now. So just keep pressing harder and harder and harder. Oh, excuse my puppies. She's excited about something, I'm sure. All right, now this side we're going to be pressing super, super hard. So as hard as you can over here, and I'm actually going to go over this area several times because I want it to be really dark. So I'm going to try to make this really, really dark here, and then I might even work myself back over to the right a little bit and make it a little bit darker. So you can see how my drawing is, my value scale is going from dark to light now. All right. So there is my pencil grade 8. Next I'm going to use colored pencil, and I'm just going to pick out, let's see, I'm going to use my blue indigo Prismacolor here, and scumbling is kind of like scribbling. So it doesn't really matter which direction your pencil is going. So it's kind of fun to just scribble on your paper, basically. The technical term, though, is scumbling. So you want it to go from dark to light. So this time I'm starting over on the left side, and I'm making the dark area. So just kind of scribbling. And then over here, remember, you need to just leave it the light white of the paper, and then just very carefully, very lightly, start adding some marks. And scumbling is really fun to do. So you can see how I am going light to dark, and I want to go back this way and make it even darker. Really press hard on the dark side. Alright, so there is my scumbling. And then next I'm going to work with a pen. You could also work with a marker though, a fine marker or a regular marker, whichever one. So I'm actually going to use a marker. So on our light side, we don't want any dots. And then we're going to slowly start adding dots. And the dots are going to start getting closer together and more frequent. Now, you need to actually place the marker down gently and be very controlled with it. If you go like this really fast, your marks will not look nice. So be careful about getting too close too soon, because you will have to put the dots closer together to make them look like a darker color. So you can see here my dots are starting to get really close together. I think by the time I get to the dark area, I'm going to be just so close with the dots. So you can see it's starting to go from light to dark. So stippling is kind of time consuming, but it is a really fun technique, and it's a nice variety for your drawing. So you see here my dark is going to be so close together. They'll almost be all touching. And this is the most time consuming, you can see here. So scumbling was probably the easiest to do. So if you're going to use stippling, I might only do it in smaller areas, or just like a few areas. I wouldn't do it all over your paper because it does take a while. But you still need to be controlled with your dots. You don't want to go crazy and just start too fast. You still have to be controlled. So you can see I'm going light to dark here. The more dots you have, the darker the color looks. And there is stippling. And then our last value scale is grade 8 with colored pencil. So I'm going to take my indigo blue again, and I'm going to do the same thing I did up here but with colored pencil. So I'm actually going to start on the light side, and I'm just going to very, very lightly, and notice how I'm holding the colored pencil. I'm holding it really far away, and I'm holding it on the edge. So I'm just really, really lightly adding the lightest color I possibly can here. And then I'm going to keep moving it to the left, making it a little bit darker each time. Pressing a little bit harder, this harder pressure over here. And then back here on the left, I'm going to make it as dark as I can. So this is always good review, good practice to make you start using your tools correctly and giving variety to the colors that you have.